Norman, do the opening monologue.
You don't really know much about Halloween. You thought no further than the strange custom of having your children wear masks and go out begging for candy. It was the start of the year in our old Celtic lands, and we'd be waiting in our houses of wattles and clay. The barriers would be down, you see, between the real and the unreal, and the dead might be looking in to sit by our fires of turf. Halloween.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the Shrouded Hand here tonight, and I gotta say, I've been a big fan of your channel for a long time now.
Oh, cool. Oh, thanks.
We only ask the important questions here. How are your allergies today? Mine are absolutely horrible.
And mine are okay today. This time of year, I just seem to have a constant cold. Everyone in England seems to. It's just the weather suddenly changes. It went from summer to suddenly winter overnight, and it's just like I've constantly got like a stuffed nose and a sore throat. Yeah,
same here. So I'm dealing with it right now. So I apologize if I don't sound that great. Allergies suck right now. I guess they call it the barometric pressure. It's that it goes from cold to hot around this time of year, and it just really messes with your sinuses, you know? Anyway, your channel has some pretty amazing stuff on it. Some of it ranges from the fantastic to the downright macabre, and I'm going to be honest, some of it's hard to watch. And it's not because of the content, it's not because of the editing, it's not because of anything. Your voice is very soothing. Everything is very good. It's the serial killer stuff, the true crime stuff. It's you don't hold back. You don't have a filter on this, and some of the stuff you go into very, very complete detail, and it can be hard to listen to if you're not used to it. I know once you did say that you don't hold back because you would be doing the victims an injustice. You tell it how it is because you want to show the world how terrible and violent these people were, and what these poor victims had to go through. So, but I guess my question would be, what got you into wanting to cover these kinds of topics?
Oh no, I feel like I've always had an interest in that sort of stuff. Like since I was a kid, I just felt like drawn to it. You know, the one thing I remember was when I was really young and I was like staying over at my grandmother's house. She'd have all these old Reader's Digests, and they always had like some true crime story in there, or some horrible story that I'd always like sneak and read them. So I don't know whether that was what got me interested in it, or I was already sort of interested in morbid things and it just drew me to reading those books. I don't know. When I was a kid, there was the cinema that we went to when I was a kid. It was run by a serial killer. You know, like we didn't know at the time, obviously, but later on it got revealed that he was going around at night and killing people.
Oh my God.
I guess that kind of might have embedded itself in my head and got me interested in such things, but
that is a crazy story. Now,
right here where it says put one slice, we heard I am the devil.
What kind of voice did the devil have?
A very low voice, I'd say sounded like Eli Wallach.
Have you saved any of this satanic toast?
Yes, I did save it because I wanted to be sure that somebody else would see it. Now this one...
Oh, look at that.
Satan lives. Just terrible.
Is the toaster still possessed?
We still have trouble off and on with it, yes. Oh, see, now it's... Seems to be aware. Oh!
Why have you kept this toaster?
Well, you know, when all is said and done, it makes good toast.
I know in the past you had some issues with your health, and out of respect, I don't really want to bring that up unless it's okay with you.
Yeah.
Okay, you're all right with that. I remember you saying in the past, this ordeal sort of led you down this dark path also, to release the kind of content that you do. A lot of like medical stuff, macabre, archaic sort of medical procedures and studies that we don't do anymore.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but I can't remember how far back it was now. Like 20, I think it was 2012. I got cancer,
Yeah.
and that, it was a pretty bad time. Like, it was hard, but I'd had like a massive phobia of hospitals, like since I was a kid up to that point. So I don't know whether it got me interested in that, but it was like I had this massive fear of anything to do with like hospitals or doctors and medical procedures, and I couldn't even like watch it on TV. And then suddenly I had to like face it, and it was just like, it was like I had no choice. I just had to suddenly go in, and I had all this surgery done, and all these like, I had a real terrible fear of needles, and suddenly I was being like having blood drawn every day and all this stuff. So I suppose that kind of I don't know, brought it to the fore, and that's, I don't know, it kind of made me want to look into it more, and yeah, just facing my fear sort of thing. Now I'm not scared of anything to do with hospitals. I quite like getting an injection now. I don't know why. I like, when you get a blood test and the needle. I quite enjoy the feeling of it. I don't know why.
And in some strange way, I can sort of relate to that. I actually like going to hospitals. Maybe it's something I wanted to do as a line of work that I missed out on. I don't know, but I always felt kind of safe in hospitals, and I don't know. Ever since I was younger, I didn't mind.
Yeah, the nurses are always like, they were all so caring, and you just feel like it's a place where you go to be like sort of nurtured in a way. I kind of get that feeling.
Yeah.
Everyone, I don't know. You feel like people who go into that profession are all kind of quite caring people for the most part, and I feel like everyone I meet in the hospital is quite nice and friendly and caring. Yeah.
One of your more recent videos you posted is one of, I'm sure you get this a lot from fans, but the Sundown Clown, fantastic video.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I don't know why that got so popular. I was surprised, but yeah, people like that one.
I mean, it's absolutely amazing to watch from beginning to end, and I urge all my viewers to check out his stuff. Check out especially the Sundown Clown episode. You will not be disappointed. Trust me. No, yeah, I mean, I love a lot of your stuff, but that video, you really knocked it out of the park. I mean, that keeps you engaged until the very, the end credits. It's fantastic. There's something quite intriguing about the unknown. I mean, it's scary, but there's something quite beautiful about it as well. And I think our human minds aren't capable enough to just not accept that we will never understand it. Like, we're always searching for the why. Like, why? I think the unknown is just, it just keeps us up at night, but at the same time, it keeps us going. We're never going to find the answers to everything, or half these things, and I guess that's the upsetting part, or I guess maybe even the beautiful part.
That's the sort of stories I like covering best, is stories where you just don't know whether it's real, whether it's fake. There's so many different sides to it. I like that aspect of a story.
I was always a big fan of the old maritime sort of etchings, drawings that the seafarers used to put on maps, and just sketches of what they thought they saw out in the ocean. I always was just intrigued by that. I want to know what these creatures were. Are they still around today? Do they still exist? Are they prehistoric? Are they just something from the deep that we didn't know what they were, or we never will?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have read that a lot of time those pictures, they were just seeing something else completely, and when they thought they were seeing like the head of a monster coming out, it was like the tentacle of a squid or something like that. I've heard that a lot, because when you see all these old pictures, I've got like books of old pictures of just where explorers have come back and they've described something they've seen, and someone's drawn it, and it's I suppose they're just describing like a lion or a rhinoceros or something, but then someone draws it, and it's like some weird monster, and then so people think that these weird creatures live out in these other countries. I don't know where I was going with that, but
All right. One really quick, one more question. I know you mentioned the thing about the serial killer from your past at the theater. But can you remember a story that happened during your childhood that may have influenced you to do this kind of stuff?
like a weird sort of like a paranormal sort of
Yeah,
event or
yeah,
something. Um, well, my house was weird. Well, I don't know. Like the thing is with childhood memories, it's so hard to like as an adult looking back, I can never sort of piece together the memory and tell if it was like that. That's how it actually happened, or whether years later I'm looking back and it's just sort of got jumbled up in my head. But there was just weird stuff used to happen in my house, and I used to think. So this is going to sound weird, right? But we had we weren't like a rich family or anything, but we had this piano in the house that we'd because my granddad was a vicar, and then
yeah.
when he died, we inherited this piano, and it was just like in the hallway. Like we had this little tiny house, but we had this. Sorry, my headphones are like falling off; they're broken. But we had this piano, and it was just like wedged into this corridor in the house, and it was we had tiny houses piano, and I don't know why it just used to spook me out. I don't know what it was. There was something weird about it. And I got it in my head that there was like a goblin or an elf or something living inside it. And then there was a box of toys in my house. And I used to go into it like every now and then. Like it was all like the toy, like the figures and things, like the action figures, cars and stuff would all
Yeah,
go
yeah.
in this thing. And I used to go through it. And then now and again, I'd found like 2 copies of the same toy, and it was like I was sure like the day before we didn't have 2 of this toy, and for some reason I just had it in my head that there was this elf goblin thing living under the piano, coming out at night, duplicating the toys. So I don't know why. Cool. I don't know why, but I swear there was like toys being duplicated, and it was just in this weird room in the house that was like other stuff happened. Like one time my dad came in through the back door, and he like walked down the corridor, and I must have wanted him for something, so I was walking behind him, like chasing after him, going dad, like calling after him, and he went into this bottom room where the toys were kept, and it was just a weird creepy room. I always felt a bit strange in there, and he went in and shut the door behind him, and I went in after him and opened the door, and there was just no one in there, and I found him later like in a different room of the house.
Oh wow.
And there wasn't any way in and out of this room. It was like he just walked in and that was it. He just vanished and appeared somewhere else. And another time I remember being in that room and just looking up at a box on top of a cupboard, and it was like the box suddenly moved forward as if it was going to fall off on top of me, but nothing moved it. It was just like I was looking at it and it suddenly jolted forward. It was all in this one room of the house where the toys were kept. It was like a bit of a junk room where everything got shoved, and it was always just cold and a bit weird in that room. And,
that's bizarre.
I don't know why I had it in my head that it had something to do with this piano, and I just thought that there was something living underneath it. I don't know why, but
wow, that's really cool.
Yeah,
it's a really cool story. I've had some pretty weird paranormal stuff happen to me in my life, but one of the things, honestly, that stands out was a story that my godmother told me.
Yeah.
So when she was a kid, she used to go to this old farmhouse, of course, and late at night, and she said this place was very haunted. I mean, you have places where like little paranormal stuff happens, but she said this stuff in this, you could feel the energy when you walked into this place. It was like pins and needles. And she said, every once in a while at night, they would hear coming from the attic, they would hear like very slight choir music, like children singing church hymns and choir music. And there was a box spring bed that was up there, and you would hear the like kids jumping on a bed, like the springs, like that, those squeaky springs, like that. They would hear that and choir music coming from upstairs in the attic. And she said every other night you would hear this. And something about 3 o'clock in the morning, all this weird stuff kind of happens and comes out, and I don't know why. I find that to be particularly strange, that at 3 a.m. seems to be the witching hour, I guess, or the hour that
Yeah,
things happen.
People do say 3 a.m. is a good time. Or just the number 3 in general is there something maybe like demonic or a bit otherworldly about that number?
Yeah, they say it's with the Trinity or something. It's supposed to be mockery of it. I guess when you look
Yeah,
at the demonic senses, but just strange stuff, just really
that's
bizarre.
that's a creepy story.
Yeah, and I love it.
Anything involving like kids' voices or
Oh, yeah.
just I don't know what it is about kid ghosts, but it's just a creepy idea.
We have a lot of fans on this channel that watch your channel and other channels as well, like Night Mind and the more macabre and dark stuff. But I really love your stuff, and I don't want to take up too much more of your time. But I really appreciate you being on the show. And
thanks for having me on. It's been fun. I watched your video the other day of I can't remember the guest's name. The first interview you did.
Corey,
I like
the best voices.
Yeah, he was doing the voices. I like that. I like the just the vibe you've got, the setup for these interviews. Give me I used to really like the show where Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and it just give me good memories.
Yeah, we ripped them up completely.
I'm not saying it's a rip off. It's a good. I can tell it's a tribute though. It's.
I was definitely a fan. Yeah. But
I loved Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Yeah.
But anyway, look, I could talk to you all day, but I know we got things to do. So I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
All right, cool. Thanks for having us on. It's been fun.